picks. Run your game when you want. Another loss for the Guards, down 2-0. What was your big takeaway from yesterday's game, guys?
That the Guardians are playing like absolute crap. I mean, that's it.
Stage too big for them.
They're overwhelmed, guys. They're overwhelmed.
Yeah, stage is too big.
My thoughts on it, you guys are the baseball guys. I'm going to sit here probably and watch you guys for a little bit, so I'm going to have a take. I think when I watched the Guardians in this series, and Sarah said this to me last night, and she's not a dire baseball fan. She goes, "We're like men, or we're like boys against men." I mean, every batter for the Yankees, it seems like you're scared of, even as a fan, because you know that it's so difficult for us to produce any run support. That anytime, like when they got up 3-0, like I was like, game over. Yeah. How are the Guardians going to get 4 runs?
Yeah,
and it shouldn't have been over at that point.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Yankees. I'll say this about the Yankees: their lineup has sexier names than the Guardians. A lot of their names have had bad seasons, like Rizzo and Alex Verdugo, but those guys are performing in this series.
Rizzo kills us, Bull.
Yeah,
He's
he kills
always
him.
killed us.
I mean, the guy's had a miserable year. He's towards the back end of his career, but
I
he's
know
clutch.
you said, we talked about him earlier. I said he still scares me. You said he's had a miserable year. He had a broken wrist or forearm. I can't remember.
Yeah, but even when he was healthy,
so he missed a lot of time. But, Bull, I'm looking at his swings. He looks like 2016.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great right now.
Rizzo.
He rises to the occasion.
Don't you think
he's a rise to the occasion guy?
He is, and we haven't had that guy other than Brian Rocchio, who dropped the fly ball last night.
Yeah, that was bad.
Don't you guys think that veterans who have been in the playoffs and been a part of those big moments and had success recall that, and they don't have the nerves that the young players do?
Yeah,
listen, you can answer that.
Yeah.
You've played a sport for your whole life.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, you lean back on your on your past successes.
Yes,
but that's not an excuse for the guy.
No, it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse for Jose. It's not an excuse. I don't think I don't think Jose or Naylor are not playing well because the lights are too bright. I think they're just not playing well. It's the nature of baseball sometimes. But
Brian Rocchio right now looks like an MVP.
He is. The baseball looks like a beach ball, damn it, to play.
When they called him out on the 2-2 pitch, that was a ball. That was not a strike.
It was close.
I went back and looked at it. It was out of the zone by about maybe an
missed
inch
a couple
to 2
of pitches.
For the most part, the umpire was pretty good.
Yeah.
But I only bring that up to say this. He's got a grinding at bat going on. He's grinding. He's seeing all kinds of different pitches. And at no point is he wildly off. He's seeing everything. And he knew that ball was out of the zone. That's why he spit on it.
Yeah.
And so what would have happened if he got to see a 3-2 pitch in that situation? It seems like all of these close breaks are going against us. One of the things I did was chart, because I said yesterday on Channel 3 there were 3 keys. Must score first. Gotta put that Yankee crowd into trance.
Didn't happen.
That didn't happen. You gotta play a perfect game if you're the Guardians to win. You cannot beat yourself. The first run of the game is scored because we drop an easy fly ball.
That was Little League.
And check. And my third thing was the superstars have to be superstars because theirs are.
Right. Well, Judge hadn't been until that home run.
No, but he homered. They've got, from their superstars, they've got 3 home runs in 2 games.
Yep.
And 3 different superstars. And my fourth one, and this one drives me nuts, because I understand as a pitcher how much help you give me if you start swinging at my garbage. I charted the first, and I stopped because I was nauseous. I couldn't do it anymore. I charted the Guardians' first 46 swings last night.
Yeah.
23. Half of their swings were at balls that were out of the strike zone.
Well, and
you can't do that.
That's a summary of everything that they were not, that they are in this series.
God, you nailed it.
They were disciplined during the season at the plate. They've been totally undisciplined in this series.
They forgot all about it.
They were sharp as attack in the field during the season. They've been a mess in the field during the season. They ran the bases great. They haven't run the bases great. Their bullpen was lights out. It hasn't been lights out. It hasn't been terrible, but like Gaddis giving the home run to Judge. And listen, it's Aaron Judge. I'm not going to kill him. I didn't think it was a home run off the bat. And maybe, because it looked like Lane Thomas was going to catch it, and then it just kept going and going. It's Aaron Judge, but yes, they have to play. They cannot shoot themselves in the foot. They
got to be perfect,
and they
almost.
did it. They've done it. It cost them 2 runs in the first game with the wild pitches. And again, I think there was more Bo Naylor than Cantillo, in my opinion. And if the ball's in front of you, you saw what Austin Wells did yesterday. He saved the run with Ramirez at third. That was a great play. Yep. Otherwise, it's 3-3. Who knows what happens?
I thought Ramirez was going to get thrown out too.
Oh, because he was
so
way
far
off
down
base.
the line.
But Jay, they're 1 for 11 in the 2 games with runners in scoring position.
They left 11 guys on base last night.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You
It
can't
is.
never come through with a hit.
There's one other stat that I think is worth throwing out there.
Yeah.
I led the show off by
Yeah.
saying if you're a lunatic idiot fan like me, you're looking for
I still
reasons.
think they got a chance.
Yeah,
It's
they
not
do.
likely, but I still
there's a
think they got
15%
chance.
chance historically
Yeah.
that they're going to come back and win. I'm going to give everybody a number that will give you hope.
Okay, good.
This is a Yankee team that I think we're getting blinded by the pinstripes. I
Yeah,
really do.
they're good,
They're
but
a
they're-
very good team.
Yeah, but they're not an all-time Yankee
They're
team.
not
no.
unbeatable.
No,
This-
not at all.
This isn't the A-Rod and Jeter
No,
Yankees when
not
they
at
won
all.
the World Series. This is a team that has okay pitching. Yes, they have 3 Herculean bats in their lineup. I think the most dangerous of all of them is Soto.
Right now, yeah.
I think with Stanton, isn't what he used to be, but he'll still kill you if you groove
Yeah.
a fastball.
Sure.
But the point I want to make on why there's hope, this Yankee team this year, 6 different times during the course of the regular season, lost 4 out of 5 games, which is what we have to do to them right now.
That's right.
This isn't a team that's, immune from going on a losing streak. We've seen it, and we've seen it as recently as the last week of the regular season. And people might say, well, they were mailing it in. They had their playoff ticket punched. No, they did not. The Guardians were very much on their heels to try to get the 1 seed. So while those games weren't life or death for the Yankees, ask them this morning if they needed home field advantage.
Yeah.
They meant something. And against the Orioles, who were really out of it,
Yeah.
and the Pirates, who have been playing it out the entire month of September and even August, they took 4 out of 5 against them.
That's right.
And it can happen.
It certainly can happen. The Guardians have to. Listen, when one team's playing poorly and the other team's playing well, it feels like the team playing well is much better than the team that's playing poorly.
And that it's insurmountable.
That's right. And if the Guardians keep playing the way they have the last 2 days, they're going to get swept, and that's that.
Yeah.
But we all know they are capable of playing much better. They didn't win their 92 games, whatever they finished with, because they beat up on the White Sox, as somebody said to me yesterday.
No, they
That's
didn't.
stupid. They only beat them by 1 game in the standings. They played in a tough division. The American League Central is tough. It's just as good as the East. The Yankees, they have more
You could say
veterans.
it's better
I get
than
it.
the East, Bull. You could.
Well,
the results are there were 3 teams that got in the playoffs, and
Sure.
the 4th wasn't eliminated until 3 days left in the regular season.
True.
2 days left, I think.
But I think the White Sox are so bad that it kind of weighs down the Central a little bit. But it's close. It's not like it was in the past where the Yankees and Red Sox and all these teams would be good, and it'd be the Guardians and everybody else would suck in the Central. They're being tested during the regular season, unlike in the past. So they are prepared for this moment. They haven't played it that way. I think people killing Stephen Vogt off game 2, I don't understand. I got no problem with anything he did. He's handicapped. The catchers can't hit. They haven't gotten a hit in the series. You knew Hedges was not going to get a hit with the bases loaded. But you had
by
no
the way,
choice.
he looked at 2 strikes and swung at a ball.
Yeah.
And that's okay, Austin, I get you're not Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
Fine. Don't make my job as the pitcher easier. Because I will tell you right now, he was sitting in the dugout after the 2nd inning, and he's looking at the surface, and he's looking at what's going on. Yeah. And between he and Wells, this is what they're saying.
Don't throw him strikes.
Don't throw it over the plate.
Right.
Don't. They're going to help you.
That's right.
I was laughing. At certain points, they were actually throwing pitches that were a foot out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
So what the hell? Let's take a chance. I'll take a flyer on it. Maybe they'll swing.
I mean, often, sometimes, when you're a great hitter, you're going to get a hit even if it's a good pitch. But a high percentage of extra base hits are the pitcher making a mistake. Well, if the pitcher is throwing the ball purposely out of the strike zone, he's much less likely to make a mistake in the middle of the zone.
He's not going to.
And so you're not going to get that great opportunity if you're swinging at everything out of the strike zone.
Leroy's on the phone, so we've got to go. But I really wanted to ask Bull this question, and I know we have the benefit of the results, and hindsight is 20/20. I love the move to put Pedro on the line on the active roster. I said that.
Yeah.
Yesterday they were forced because of the injury to Cobb to put Ben Lively on the roster. We talked about it. I didn't love the fact that they left him off the roster in the first place. He was their second best starter this year. To me, it seemed nonsensical that he would not be on the playoff roster. And you had Walters on the playoff roster. And
Right,
I know
right.
it's a matchup thing or out of the bullpen.
No, I agree.
Lively looked great yesterday.
Honestly, I'd start him game 5. I would start, you're going to start Boyd tomorrow.
Well, listen, is Bybee on the table? That was the other thing I wanted to
game
ask
5.
you. No, for tomorrow. They talked about it during the telecast, and I think Ron Darling brought it up. And I said, Ron, that's a brilliant point.
Yeah.
He's got a full day rest, and he threw, 30 pitches?
At the very least, he could pitch game 4.
That was not
Yeah.
the Tanner Bybee that we've seen.
No,
it wasn't.
And
he got a couple of bad breaks that went against him, and you blink, and he's out of the game. And I know you didn't like the fact that he was laughing at the decision to pull him.
Yeah.
I was laughing. I'm like, come on, what are we becoming?
But I had no problem with him getting pulled. He had 5 hard hits.
I understand.
It's game 2.
And Smith came in and got the job done.
Right.
But you're firing your second best reliever in the second inning is a recipe for disaster.
It is. They can't do it the whole series. They need Matthew Boyd or whoever starts game 3 to pitch really well.
If it's Boyd,
I
he
do
needs
think
6 innings.
Bybee is a decent chance will come back and start one of the 3 games in Cleveland.